Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 135 of Splinterlands 101. Joining us again, co-hosts of the show, finest gentleman who ever lived, Matt Clark.
Howdy, howdy.
The man behind the Pouffet Poussey, Geotrix.
How are we, gentlemen?
Welcome.
And it's good to be back.
Oh, yes, good to have you back.
Good to be back. I have missed out on an episode.
You have. Yeah, as I mentioned on the last episode, we just, it was just one thing after another, and we just, one day, and it was all of a sudden it's like Tuesday, and it was like, wow. Or Monday for me, Tuesday for Matt, it was like, we have to record today. And
got to do something.
Yeah. So Gio wasn't available on that day, but we couldn't push it forward anymore. But yeah, here we all are today. What's new?
On the 11th, or the 10th for you.
10th for me, yeah. 11th for you.
Get with the times.
So yeah, lots going on, I guess. Gio, you mentioned before some voucher changes just been mentioned a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now.
That's what a great idea.
Well, what is the sharing of screen?
Yeah.
Screen sharing. Well,
He's
yeah,
mocking me because I'm disabled. My employer has disabled that on my laptop. So he's mocking me.
No, I wasn't actually, because
we don't want to make any accusations right now, right? Like, is it just allegedly they have moved in or updated some things? Oh, because that would be a bit weird if they were meddling with certain apps or the well, what would you even call it? Like the accessibility or the what do you call it, like privilege access stuff?
It would just be Windows permissions.
I could just be less of a tight ass and just buy my own laptop too. There's that.
One day, when crypto's more healthy.
Windows.
I don't mean the crypto. I mean the price of it, man. When it's a bit more tasty, you might want to take some out just for a laptop. I'm not saying you're gonna cash out.
Yeah, well, the plan's always been move into HBD, but it looks like there's a bit of a battle going on there with the 15%, 20%. Quite a few people have been DMing me saying what's going on with the rate. So, and there's
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, apparently, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said Trash Panda, who has like 2 million HBD, which means they're pulling down like 400,000 HBD a year at 20%, has seen that the top witnesses have reduced their rate from 20%. They're signaling 15 instead of 20, and he's started unsupporting those witnesses and supporting ones who are signaling 20%. So seems like there might be a bit of a tussle going on there at the moment, but it's a peaceful battle, right? And I mean, if you want to win, you just need to buy Hive, right? Like that's a pretty good. You know, when governments battle, people die and wealth is destroyed, and when factions on the chain battle, that pushes up the price of Hive because everybody wants more Hive powder.
But it's always like that, yeah. When someone's doing like exceptionally well at something, there's always going to be a legislation or some rule that comes in to like sort of just like stop that. You know, to just meddle. It's like, you can't. I'm not doing that, so you can't do that. And I'm in the position of power where, fucking bands with my buddies, and we can push something onto, everyone, right? Like, even Mick,
power that you've had to pay for though is different than power you've been elected into, right? So power you've been elected into, you can abuse as much as you like because it didn't cost you anything except getting elected. Whereas this is if you want a voice here, you need to actually pony up your own wealth, your own money, and otherwise nobody's listening because you don't have any weight, you don't have any stake. So, I hear you. I think this is much better way of tussling these things out. I'd like more stability, to be honest. Whether it's 15 or 20, I would like for it to be that way for 10 years, and that's where we kind of get a little bit. Into rough waters when it constantly changes because people like knowing I've got this set rate. So we need to kind of.
When people see this, they might lose some trust, right? Or it's just human nature. It's like, oh, okay, you've done this, you made a change. You can change it again. Are you going to bring it down to 10%? You know?
Yeah, and people can. I think the important lesson there too is to keep an eye on your witnesses and make sure that you're across what's going on, because there are people who will wake up and discover that a coup like this has happened, right? That
True.
somebody's pushed it through, somebody's made the right friends and made the right deals, and then all of a sudden, multiple witnesses have all said, "Yeah, okay, we've in some telegram you're not aware of, we'll signal 15%," and then you could have the heaviest hitters in the game just wake up the next morning and say, "What? When did it get changed to 15%? No, 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 I don't want that." And then, we're not on 24/7. There would be people who still, like you, Bob, weren't aware of this change having happened. If you were really passionate about this, you could easily now go in and change who you're voting for based on that. CTR PCH, who's been on the Counterpunch, Andrew, who's been on the show before, he's mentioned, because he's a witness, that a few people have been DMing him saying, "Hey, if you want my continued support, move it down to 15." So lots of fun in politics there.
Well,
I guess 20%, as many have said, I don't know if it's true because I haven't done any numbers on it, said it's unsustainable anyway for the long term, and it just creates more HBD inflation. That's what I've heard. Others have said by lowering it for 15%, the witnesses actually do get more out of this. I don't know why or how. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but that's just something I've heard. Again, I don't know the technicals behind any of this. To me, most of it doesn't really even make sense, but here we are. That's why I probably haven't gotten involved with it.
It's good though. Again, the whole witness process is actually good like that. So if you're across the details and you want to go through, it's like the voting, you put a 1 above the line or number everybody underneath the line. It's kind of like that, where you can set a proxy who's paying attention, somebody you trust, and they can vote on your behalf, or you can go through and decide who your top 30 are based on what they're actually doing. So you can engage at the level that you want to engage with. Sorry, Bob, cut you off.
Yeah, you mentioned Trash Panda right at the beginning of all this, and I know he watches the show. He comments regularly on YouTube, and he's also delegating to me on both of my accounts. So yeah, if you've got some thoughts on this and you'd like to come on and talk about it, yeah, hit me up.
Something more in depth, just reasoning why 15% is better than 20. And yeah, because as we've seen, even with other protocols on other chains, they've always sort of dropped it eventually, right? 20% to get people in, and then just, I don't know, it falls over time. So maybe 20% just isn't really realistic for forever, Maybe it does cause some instability at some point.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to do a deep dive on that actually and hear from both sides. And definitely, Trash Panda, if you see this, it'd be great to have you on. You can just be an avatar if you want to remain anonymous. We've had that before. Obviously, your voice is your voice, I guess. Yeah. Good chat.
Yeah, no, because like in the traditional sense, 20% is ludicrous.
It's awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But looking at it from like what most people get, not being in this space, that is insane. It's insanity. Like, it's just...
Especially with the whole HBD push in Latin American countries and so forth, that's a big selling point, is earn 20% on your holdings.
And like I said, there are other chains who do, I don't know if they're any better or worse, but they do have that 25% to rope people in, right? To get them to use their ecosystem, their protocol, their stablecoin returns, or the ROI on stablecoins. So maybe if they drop it anymore, some people might leave. Some people might look for other places. Again, I don't know how stable that is, and if we're to trust.
I think from a stability perspective, I'd like to see that whole process changed. I've heard this before, where we set a maximum amount of change per period, say per month, a bit like the way the Reserve Bank does it, where I guess they don't have a maximum that they can move. But if we said okay, the next whatever month is coming up. There's been 30 days since the last change. and the witnesses can signal up, down, or stay where we are, and then that way people can say, okay, drop from 20 down to 19, drop from 19 down to 18, but that's going to take you 6 months to get down to 15%. That would be a lot more stability, I think. And then those who, I don't know, I feel like that would be a better way to do it. And then there's not that sort of shock. And people who really care can look sort of towards the end of the month and say, oh, enough of the witnesses are saying up, that it's probably going to go up next month. If things strengthen and we want to go up from 15 up to 16, or then the next month maybe up to 17, a bit more of a stability instead of this sort of big jumps. So that's something to think about, I guess.
And not knowing that, oh, well, I guess we know things can change. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
So maybe it could go back up to 20% when things are more stable, like the greater market. I don't know. Like maybe we're doing this now because of the way things are. I'm not sure.
Well, it's like what we were saying with the Splinterlands proposal on the DHF. You know, it'll get over for a day and then it'll drop back down again. There's no real. Whereas what I'm suggesting is that would be the rate then for a month. Whereas tomorrow we could be back up to 20% because Pumpkin or Smooth or one of these big anonymous whales just says, "Oh no, I want this," and they'd change their witness votes. And now
I've had a change of heart.
Majority signaling 20, and now it's so we dropped down to 15% for 4 days and then back up to 20. It's like there's no. Whereas what I'm saying is it could move, but it's moving a lot slower, only 1% at a time. And you look at it and say it's 17% now. Well, 2 months from now, the most it can be is 19%, and the least it can be is 15% because there's only two steps between now and then.
So it's like you want more of like a variable, sort of gradual change.
Yeah, more where the witnesses set the direction they want to go.
Yeah.
Rather than the destination they want to land at, because some people are voting 15, but they actually want 12. Right?
Yeah.
I've heard quite a few people mention 12. I don't know if anybody's really pushing for more than 20, but I think if you all set out together and you want to go this way and we want to go this way, each camp sort of gets as far as, you know, and then you might find that you want to get back to 20, but you lose half your friends at 19. Okay, I guess we're collectively stopping at 19.
Is there a post or something with a list of which the direction the witnesses are going on this?
You can actually look on the witnesses page and see what HBD they're signalling. What APR is, I think. So Archange is 20, Studkev is 20, Block Trades is 12, GTG is 10, Good Karma is 20, Steampeak's 20, Ausbit Bank and OCD are 15 each. Quack High is 20, Deathwing's 15, Roland P is 10. He's the guy who does the Hive Fest. Yabba is 20. Real Wolf is 12. Guilty Parties is 19. Marky Mark's 15. Three Speaks signaling 9%.
Jeez.
M. Rebela is 15. A-Bit is 7%. Farasim is 20%. And then Smooth Dot Witness is 15%. And that rounds out the top 20. Marty Yari at 21 is at 15%.
So they're all around, yeah.
How are you getting this info, Matt?
It's just on the peakd.com/me/witnesses. And it's all there on the right hand side. So you just scroll down it's the same spot where you would vote for a particular witness. It's just shows APR percent.
So Gio, can you stop sharing screen for a second?
Yes.
We still haven't got rid of the vouchers yet.
I completely forgot that I was even sharing. There you go.
So for a lot of people, they're not across how HBD works. So I would encourage those people to maybe set a proxy who does and that you trust
Matt,
for this.
Where do we go from here?
So just click on your name in the top right, as if you were signing out. Yep, and just click Witnesses.
I need to get rid of our mug shots here.
And then you go Witnesses.
Yeah.
So see the blue ticks to the left of that, you got APR percentage.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that tells you what they're signaling. What they're saying is what they think it should be.
Right.
Interesting.
Deathwing just changed his 19 minutes ago. Oh, look at that. Yabba PMAT
Yeah,
and
20.
Deathwing, both 19 minutes ago. What's going on there?
Yep. There would be a lot of communication going on that we're not
Yeah,
across. That we're not familiar with.
yeah.
Real Wolf 28 minutes ago. Yeah, but yeah, there is 18 for Death. You're right.
Dude,
There's a lot
that's a
going
lot
on
of
right
1 minute
collaboration.
ago.
Oh, that's
And
a lot
Rowan,
of
1 minute ago, down to 15%.
man, that's a lot of
there. Like a live
talks.
ticker.
Yeah.
A lot of talks going on, huh?
Crypto Brewmaster, 1 minute ago.
And I could just imagine people in the end of all these like massive paragraphs being like, okay, I'm going my own way anyway. Bye. You know, like when there's like agree to disagree thing. Like, yeah, okay, we're not getting anywhere. I'm putting 20, you can put 15, whatever, bro. Bye. See ya. Oh shit. That's great. Because that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing like, we're seeing a
Yeah,
lot.
wow. If you click instead of general params, like parameters, I'm guessing, they also include block size. So they're signaling different block size, but they're all signaling the same block size. That would be for continuity's purposes.
Yeah.
But they can even, like, you think about the way the block size debate just basically was a Bitcoin civil war between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash back in the day, about how big each block should be, and now, or how much internal memory each block, and
Yeah.
now we've just got this where if they all got together in the Telegram group and said, hey, we're going to increase the block size, well, then we might have a similar sort of, yeah, wow, that is really cool.
It can be it's very technical. It's like, why have they landed on that number, right? Like, what's so good about, 65,500 and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you put it too high, would that slow things down?
Well, yeah, that's how much information can go in each of the 3-second blocks.
Like a throughput, yeah.
That'd mean more bloat for the chain, but I don't think blocks are full by a long stretch. Just looking, it's 87,933,560. So we won't be long before we're at 100 million blocks. I mean, when you're adding them 3 seconds at a time, it doesn't take long for that number to go up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
All right, so vouchers, Gio.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to chew on the HBD front, right? Like, for a lot of chains, that's a big selling point, And I guess you want to find what's really good and fair for everyone who uses that, or to onboard people, because it needs to be attractive, but not so, I don't know, not so unsustainable, I guess. Yeah. So where are we? Am I just sharing this screen?
Yeah, you're on the wrong screen. You're showing your SPS. Oh, your proposals.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me stop sharing. I've got to find it. Okay, there we go. All right. I think we're good. Yeah, so there's been a voucher change. And as you can see on the screen, this is the, what would you call it, an update proposal, showing you each of the changes and why they're doing it. And based off what I know, they just want to stop inflation. So they want to keep the attention on just SPS and the DEC. And I guess having another inflationary token is just like, it takes away from DEC, as a transaction, as a currency. So why not just change that into something else? So they're not completely getting rid of it, but it's just becoming soul bound, right? So there's going to be no actual value trading of that on like Hive Engine or whatever else.
All I've been doing with vouchers, and I can't remember who suggested it on, again, a comment on YouTube, was after we had been discussing the season pass on the show, they said, well, don't pay for your season pass with DEC.
Exactly.
Use your DEC to buy vouchers, and then use your vouchers for your season pass. And it's a huge difference. So I've been doing that. Yeah.
So they want to tackle DEC And by letting everyone use vouchers, well, you're not doing that, are you? Like you're not really trying to get to the root problem of what we're trying to deal with here.
Well, you are
So
selling your DEC to buy the vouchers.
yeah, but it's like, oh, here's like a discount on, here's a discount. We don't want to give freebies in other ways, We just want to be like focus on DEC, SPS. That's it. We don't need any more. And I agree with everyone who rang this. I mean, that's why it's probably passing, right? Because they've noticed, like, hey, we could just be using just DEC instead of like vouchers. Like, why make things more complicated? Yeah, and I guess the vouchers was introduced at the time to make it more attractive for people to buy into. But right now, I mean, that's the wrong thing. I mean, we're just inflated, right? On all fronts. So
yeah, it makes a lot of sense to make them soulbound. And
yeah,
I agree. If you want the discount on the wild pass, then get it by earning vouchers by having staked SPS. Like that's how you get. How you get the discount. If you don't want to stake your SPS and you don't want to, I mean, I think if you have the option to, I don't know, do you have the option to pay partially? You wouldn't you? Partially with vouchers and partially with DEC.
I don't believe so.
No,
you got to pay either.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting then, because that means that you really, I guess somebody could say if they've got not enough staked SPS to accrue that many vouchers each season, they could alternate. Or if you don't have much SPS, you could say, well, once a year, I'll treat myself to a free season I don't have to pay for by spending vouchers that are soulbound that I've earned. Yeah, that's a good point.
But someone who hasn't got enough SPS shouldn't really be entitled to that anyway.
No, that's true. But I'm more just thinking, well, if you would need 150,000 SPS to generate enough vouchers to get yourself your wild passes,
it's 110,000.
Okay.
Per season, that's what you need.
Yeah. So if that was insurmountable to people, they might say, well, I can't take my 20,000 and just pay a few vouchers and the rest in DEC. But that doesn't really matter, because every few seasons they can still accumulate enough vouchers to buy that entire season. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, good change. I like it. I support it.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's really no point getting too in depth with it. That was just sort of the reasoning, at least that I saw within the community, as to why they should make this change. And yeah, so here it is. It's going forward, and it's a good thing for where we're at right now.
And that should simplify the validator software, validator license node software challenge, because that was part of the reasoning behind getting rid of vouchers, was we can't have them on this chain. Whereas I believe if they're soulbound, there's no need to do that. They're just something the game gives the individual, and there's no need to track them because they can't be moved around.
Yeah, slowly but surely, everything's been sort of fine tuned. So yeah, it's just another change. Moving on. What's next?
Dejota has been kindly. We've tried to get him on, but we haven't had the chance just yet. He's been running around like a blue ass fly, I think is the proper Aussie term, to get all the reward cards stats. The various different content creators, or ambassadors as we're calling them, have, and Bob, I believe you're an ambassador. Congratulations, Your Excellency. I believe that's the correct term.
Yes.
Pulling that all together into a post. So, Bob, you have that there. Did you want to have a look, and we'll go through and share some thoughts?
It's very handy.
I feel like it's Dejota.
I think it is.
So, anything like I was thinking before, like Jota in Sanskrit is great. So, like, say Jota. So Jota means he is great, or great one. But Dejota, I don't know. And Gio, you mentioned the Vonak picture here has a bit of a Hindi kind of flavor to it. So yeah, even if you share with us, what is Dejota? Dejota. How do we correctly pronounce that, seeing as we're we're talking about you here. We'd like to be talking about you correctly.
Come on the show and do it in person. That'll be the go.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, we have the ambassador list here. This is simply a list
That's a cool list.
all of the people who applied to become part of the program and were each given a Rebellion Soulbound reward card to share as alpha. And as for those who caught our last episode, you would know that this was the card that we revealed, Serenth. And if you want to know our thoughts on Serenth, how to use her, what she's good at, what she's not good at, check out last week's episode. Matt in particular shares a lot of insight on how he would use this card. So yeah, let's have a look at some of the other Soulbound cards that have been released. And thank you to Dejota for creating this post and showing us all of these cards in one place. So yeah, what are thoughts, Matt? This is a life card, so it's life card. I mean, it's got lots of green in it, so this card's got to be up your alley.
Yeah, she looks like a Spirit of the Foresty type. Maybe we could coax her over to Earth. Yeah, that the Mimic ability. So it's pulling from other people from the other team. That's the new brain there, tying with Reflection Shield and Opportunity.
So we got Mimic, and what was the other one?
There's quite a few there. So, but otherwise she just has Opportunity and Reflection Shield. So the Mimic is the new one that she has. So she's effectively getting other people's abilities, stealing abilities from the other from the opposing side. And considering she has 2 attacks and Opportunity, I really feel like this is potentially mad OP. Depending on which ability she actually takes, and she can take multiple. She'll take one after the other, or there's a chance to. And Dispel will only remove one at a time. In the order that they were gained. So abilities like Poison, Affliction, that type of thing, particularly dangerous in an Opportunist card. But even things like Stun in a knockout rule set, we're familiar with all the different abilities. And so she can't take debilitations, targeting ability. So debilitations would be interesting because that's the new thing. That's the new set of abilities where your team suffers for your ability. So it's overpowered, but
the debuff.
Yeah. And I think as someone who's very cheeky with liking to pull together 1-card teams just to summon her in a card, I have a lot of fun with Torhia the Frozen, for example, with his last stand. And Persipolis, I put somebody in first, like what's the little 3-mana little semi-tank with lots of armor? It's Cruel Sethropod, I think. No. Anyway, put him and then Torhio behind him, and then you've only got 2 cards, but you've spent all of your mana on these 2 cards. And then Torhio, when he gets to the front, he just goes insane and does trample and the like from Persipolis. So that's a lot of fun. Things like that, I'm thinking debilitations that affect your whole team. Well, if your whole team's 1 card, maybe that's where debilitations are really going to find their forte. That's my thinking about it anyway at the moment.
And
so
with life, it's easy to just add Inspire and get 3 melee on this easily. So it makes it more attractive there. And Mimic's 25% chance every turn to gain an ability.
Not in the first round.
Okay, not in the first round. And do you have to attack the card to get an ability, a chance at having or retrieving an ability?
No, so she's got that 25. So at the beginning of round 2 and each following round, gain a random ability from the enemy team. So that actually happens every round. Not the first round, but second, third. And it looks like there's a 25% chance to gain a random ability from attacker when hit. So
Oh, so it's a guarantee.
Yeah,
After
that's
the
the way I'm
second-
reading it.
Oh,
At the beginning of round 2 and each following round, gain a
gain.
random ability from the enemy
Interesting.
team. 25% chance to gain a random ability from an attacker when hit. Dispel removes one
Okay.
mimicked ability in the order they were gained. Debilitations, targeting abilities, ambush, weapons training, flank, reach, charge, and taunt cannot be mimicked.
All right. There's some limitations. That's good. It's good.
Yeah. But imagine the frustration. Like, I'm assuming this would be the case. So, say you put her up last and Uraeus hits her, right? But Uraeus doesn't poison her, but she takes poison from Uraeus.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
she does poison. And she's an opportunist, so she's firing 2 attacks, right? So now she's poisoning your team because you gave her poison, but you didn't actually poison her when you hit her. That
And the
would
next
be
match, and the next round, you get like immunity or something. You know.
well, yeah. There's no problem with her inheriting immunity. So yeah,
Or like
that's
South Hill. There's South Hill from Cora. Immunity and South Hill, you know? Like
yeah, that's really going to mix up the meta. That's cool. I like that a lot. And only 6 mana, so she's going to be very, very popular.
And she's got
that's cool.
a leg of ham over the shoulder too, Matt.
Yeah, looks like a axe of some description. I think maybe I don't know.
Yeah, a crystal on a stick.
Yeah, it's like a septum or well, what do you got? Scepter or whatever you call
Scepter,
it?
staff.
A staff.
Yeah.
Septum's this bit here, I think. So
Yeah,
it's got a
yeah.
septum piercing there.
I was just trying to remember. There was a word for like a stick with like this crystal at the end of it.
Staff.
Yeah. Staff. That's it.
Scepter is short, staff is big.
Ah, there we go. The more you know, folks. In the current day, we need one of those 2 weapons at our disposal at all times.
Getting a lot of ranger vibe from the artwork and with the pet as well. Yeah,
Very earthy, to be honest. Like you're taming a lion, and you're like some wood, like you said, a wood nymph or some elf or something, in some small community away from the main hubs of the city society.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
getting ranger vibes
Yeah.
with the green, the pet. Yeah.
All right. At this rate, we're not going to get through many cards.
All right, let's look at the next one then.
Yeah, let's get our scroll on.
Arachne Weaver.
Okay, and the new ability there is Corrupted Healing. Each round, restore a third of max health to allied units, rounded down. Each time a unit's healed, its max health is reduced by 1. So yeah, corruption and healing all in one. I can see this being big for like explosive, say, fire melee teams that are just fairly low health anyway, but just need that bit of. They'll take a lot of damage from thorns and the like, but she's going to heal them all, but at the cost of like reducing that max health by 1. And 1 health cards like your Ever Hungry Skull, Damaki Orc, that type of card is not going to be affected by this at all. Either way, they're not going to get healed above 1, but they're not going to, they're not going to. So, yeah, I think there's going to be places where that's really appropriate, and other places where it's going to, those double, what do you call it? The
double strike cards.
Double restoration. Those death double restoration teams where they reduce enemy health down to 1 across the board, and then they have two restoration cards that just wipe everybody out in your back row. Things like that are really going to struggle with this, because you kind of self healing, but also dropping it down. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Great artwork,
but that's it.
too.
Like with death cards, it seems like it's very tacky and added on. Like, do you just want to like trying to take away the health and life points and poison? It's very poisony. It's very like parasitic in its way that the abilities are. But I feel like it hasn't got much of a core structure like some other elements do. It's just very just throw in like, let's try this. It's very random. Yeah, I don't know. I used to like death a lot. But it doesn't have much more of a what do you call it? Like, it's not as consistent. It's not as consistent as other.
Clove 71 killed me the other day with a Lord of Darkness, Corrupted Pegasus lineup, and I was like, "Oh, it's been a while, right? It's been so long since I saw Corrupted Pegasus." Yeah, you're right. Death is
It hasn't got as
wrong.
many plays. It just feels like it's more throwing. Like, let's just debuff or do something, in mass, right? But there's no like, I don't know, I feel like Life and Earth have more meta plays, I guess, of what I'm trying to say. More, well, what's that word when something works together? It's more,
Synchronicity.
yes, more synchronistic. Yeah.
Symbiotic.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. But I like it. I like it. I just find myself as a maturing player using death in some cases less and less. I feel like I opt for more like earth, life, and water and dragon. They're my sort of go-tos. Again, I get it. I know like death has its use cases, but yeah, not as many
Yeah,
as
I'm
I
just
find
thinking
with
like
others.
those larger cards. It won't heal itself, which is interesting because it's allied units, but
It's got
no
scavenge
mention
though.
of itself.
It does.
It's got scavenge, so I'm thinking it's not really healing itself. But you get another scavenge card, and it's got say 18 health before it hits the front. Yeah, okay, it's losing 1 max health, but it's also being healed for 6, right? So that whole getting healed is different levels of benefits. Now it's a minimum of 2. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see how that works.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think when I'd look at that in my lineup and say, "Hey, let's grab this." It doesn't jump out at
Yeah.
me as a good idea, but
That's what I'm.
it's
Yeah,
going to
it's like
work.
a random. Like, let's try this. Like, let's put a whole lot of like poison cards together. Like let's put just random cards. Like no real synergy. Just they're at their own on their own merit. They're good cards.
Yes, but it's up to the player to find those matchups,
Yeah,
those
but
two and 3 that work together.
but death is more trickier, right? When it comes to that,
Sure.
life and the other ones have more. It's more obvious. It's more easy to tack a team together. Yeah.
All right, Night Reaper. And you've got the ability here of
Dragon. I
Wing
like.
break.
Wing Break. Always targets flying first, regardless of abilities or rule sets, and +2
Plus
damage if the target
damage.
has flying.
Yee. So like Agor, like bye-bye, like not bye-bye, but like extra damage to Agor, right? Being a taunt and with flying. And it's got flying itself.
Uriel is one that springs to mind as well. Yeah, and this
Yeah.
card, as you said, this card's actually got flying. What's that one on the end there?
Last stand.
Last
So
stand.
imagine. Yeah.
He's already got 10 health.
Yeah.
But 11
Yeah,
mana, expensive.
Normally, when you're like, "Oh, you do extra damage," I'm thinking, "Yeah, but that's going to hurt when it comes back at you." But she's got reflection shield.
Yeah, man. It's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, sure, it hasn't got like void armor, it hasn't got void and whatever else. All that. So it probably will be easy to kill with enough, with enough hits on it. It's not like blocking much, but it's still very, very good. It's useful.
Not crazy fast. I mean, let's be honest. If you had Spark Pixies right up the front, just Spark Pixies versus Night Reaper, how many times is it actually going to have to, like, I guess Magic's not going to miss, so Spark Pixies is a bad choice, but something with phase, something with flying and phase, how likely is it that Night Reaper is just going to miss them?
Well, that's it. You just use blinds and it just adds and speed buffs, which dragon and whatever splinter you choose is going to have.
Blinds, dodge, speed buffs, then it doesn't matter that they have flying because she's not going to hit them anyway. It's not like Snare that will always hit flying. Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's the summoner that gives you dodge? Astral Entity. Astral Entity, yeah. So, yeah, not compatible.
It's good. It's awesome. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't know. For me, I'd probably just use this just because of high mana. I'm being like, let's chuck in the biggest, baddest.
Yep.
No thought, no
Last,
brain, just bang, bang.
yep. Last spot, last stand.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's
Yeah.
vulnerable to it's vulnerable to wing break itself because it has
It
flying.
is.
So
Yes.
I've been thinking that for a while. What would be a fun rule set is magic. Magic damage does triple damage to magic cards, right? So you got to decide: do I want to engage with that whole thing and try to overwhelm them with magic damage, but at the same time, I myself, my magic cards I bring in are extra vulnerable to magic, and this kind of feels a little bit like that, where it's sort of, well, I'm bringing in a card that attacks flying cards, but I know my opponent can do the same. Yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of game theory there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is awesome.
Hmm.
I think it's cool. It really is. It looks cool.
Yeah, well, you think about Archmage Arius, right? He gives +1. So now if I've got this card, I'm doing 5 magic damage.
Yeah.
+2, right?
7.
They got some flying support monster in the back. I'm hitting it for 7 magic damage. That's nuts.
It's huge.
And she's targeting that card that I wouldn't otherwise be able to target, right?
Yeah.
Because it ignores taunt, I'm assuming, based on how I'm reading it, regardless of abilities or rule sets.
Yeah.
Goes for flying
regardless
first.
of abilities or rule sets.
Yeah, that could be a real meta changer. I like it.
Interesting.
Thanalorian Blade.
I like it.
So
I like it. It's just another. It's Earth. It's just another to add. Yeah, just another targeting. What's this?
Execute paired with trample is like the best scenario, right? Because execute says if they've got 2 or less health when after I've hit them, then I hit them again.
Mm-hmm.
So those times where you've only got that 1 health left and you're like, oh damn, that card had trample. She would have actually then trampled if I'd have finally polished that off, and then I would have hurt the next card really well. Well, this just answers that beautifully.
Unless you got Retaliate or Thorns or something like that.
So this just makes trample more likely just to go off on its own merit as a card.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So those Stampede rule sets, right, where it's just like you can just go nuts. And Opportunist. So she's going to hit the weakest card in the back row. If it's
which
not
is
their
more
last
likely.
Card, more likely to end up with fewer than 2 health at the end of the attack.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure where that stands with. Not sure where that stands with armor, because it says if the actual wording of execute is interesting. If the target has 2 or less health after a successful attack, perform another attack against the same unit. Now, a successful attack might hit armor, so she might hit, say, 7 armor, and but it's a card like Dimaki Orc, for example.
I don't think it'd be like that.
I don't know, man. It's a successful attack,
but it says health. It's a HP, not defense, not like.
But I would read successful attack as anything other than a miss.
That's exactly right. And if they started with 2 or less health,
2 or
she's
less
going to hit them twice.
After a successful attack. Right.
So if you hit them, knock off 1 shield, it's still a successful attack.
Yeah, so she's going to hit them twice every time.
I don't think that would make it like that's too OP. Way too, and it's got outlook, which means it attacks like before the game starts.
No, that's ambush. Outlook protects the guys either side of you.
My bad. So that's ambush. So that means you get an attack before the phase.
Yeah, she doesn't have that.
Nah, bro, that's broken. Nah, they're not gonna do that. No way. That's gonna get a debuff.
Should be good in like second to last, right? Because she's protecting the cards either side of her from sneak and snipe attack and fellow opportunists. But yeah, I can see her doing that. Like, when people use like the Ever Hungry Skull or Enchanted Defender with 1 health or something like with a lot of armor. Love you, darling. Drive safe. Then that's kind of easy to cheese, right? It's just a common. Well, this is kind of punishing that. I think if it works the way I'm reading it.
Well, I'm hoping that this card would have to. So this card, whether it attacks someone with less health than 2, wouldn't enact that ability. It'd render it useless because that's how it should be. You know.
I don't think so. We'll have to wait and see. We've only got like 4 days before we get to start playing with these cards and then sharing example matches and seeing how it works. So
yeah, I get what you mean. Like it attacks, and that card already has below 2 health, so it's gonna activate that ability. Yeah, yeah. But I hope it's not like that. I hope it's not like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty
Because
sure
I mean,
it is.
it's a good way to melt the armor. Yeah, melt the armor off those enchanted defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because like it attacked the armor and register. Oh, this card has less than 2 health. Let's enable the ability. Let's enact it. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. But I think if you want to balance it, if you want to make it not broken, that what I was suggesting is probably best. Probably best.
There's a lot to like there for only 6 mana.
Yeah.
And if it is what you say it is, then these cards are insane. For reward cards, like who really needs who needs to buy Rebellion? These are crazy. These are insane. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm strengthening my deck. Man, I can't wait. Saving all my glint.
Yep, and this can be, look, think about it too. That ability can be mimicked, right? So that can be mimicked by a magic card who then is ignoring armor, getting them down from 4 to say 1, and then going again because they've got this execute ability that they've mimicked off her.
This game is starting to become like every other, not every other, but it's, with TCG, right? There's power creep. Before you know it, in a few more generations, cards are going to be so busted and broken. It's beautiful, right? It's going to be. Oh man, some of these abilities are awesome. You're not going to recognize the game.
All right.
But again, I mean, if it's Thorns or Retaliate, then that's just 2 opportunities for her to get killed too. So we can see the advantages of these, but not necessarily the potential pitfalls.
Kazi Conjurer.
So this is the card with the deep, so it's high risk, high reward. So you use it, you attack, but you are also like suffering some stat buff or debuff, sorry. Or I don't even know what that fire flame does, but I remember the gist of the ability. Bring it up. What is it?
Incendiary. Reapplies burning at the beginning of each round. Has a 33% chance to spread to adjacent units at the beginning of each round. Then all burning units lose 2 health.
Burning can be cleansed.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So imagine having this like a second position, or even when it gets to first position, you got to cleanse like behind it or something, right? Like, and all of the range cards can attack. Like they're able to be used at front row. That's cool. I like it.
And how often do people bring a cleanse card into a game unless it's obnoxious fumes or something like that?
Yeah, not very.
But they have the option to do it, right? Like you get a cleanse card that has 4 speed, and is going to cleanse him, after his turn. Yeah, I guess he can't be cleansed of it, so he's going to reapply burning every single round. So it's only somebody that he has set on fire that can be cleansed. I wonder about immunity, right? Like if you have say Elmo Cambio in front of him. I know I'm talking about older cards here, and then him, and then another immunity card behind, Venator Kinjo, for example. I mean, are they going to get set on fire, or are they immune to incendiary? It's so many things we don't know.
Imagine,
but that is an insane amount of damage for a 2 mana
ranged
card.
only, close range, and like that fire card that gives you enraged. Oh man. GG.
Yeah.
Shit. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Pierce, like when you're
And
damaging that
Pierce.
much, Pierce makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come out with 2 damage cards and it's got Pierce. It's like, how often is that really going to matter? But
Yeah.
that's nuts.
I like it.
Yeah. Little League. This thing's just going to kill it.
Oh yeah, Little League as well.
You
Little
can't
League
hit
is low
it.
health though. So many other cards have low health, so they're going to get,
Oh,
assuming they do get caught on fire, they're not going to last very long into the league. That's why I love Scavenger so much.
oh,
'Cause
bro,
everyone's got such low health.
no, this is awesome. Little League, but put like your martyr cards, like Dragon Fire. Put like 2 martyrs at the end. Like, oh shit. Oh, oh man.
Yeah. Set aside your own martyr cards. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Juicy. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's giving me.
It's a good card.
I like it.
But he's losing 2 health around. Like, he's not going to last.
Yeah.
Unless you've got multiple triage.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Like, if you set up your whole team around, I don't know. There's a lot there. I like
But
it.
especially like because we're looking at the maxed as well. So like, how much damage is he doing at level 1 or level 2, level 3 to be losing 2 health around?
Yeah. Yeah.
But as long as he gets a shot and with speed of 5, there's a good chance he's going to. He's at Little League. He's going to take out whenever he hits.
Yeah, and if you had somebody who's assuming immunity cards don't worry about burning, if you just put him right at the back with an immunity card blocking him from the rest of the team, well, he's just going to keep firing until he dies after presumably 3 rounds. But that's still a lot of damage done, especially if you're pulling together a scavenge team where you don't mind if your cards die anyway.
Yeah, like even putting it with like around surrounded by redemption in Little League, huh? Like, let's say exploding rats or some, I don't know, this guy and some other like fire elemental, right? So you're doing heaps of damage with that with that card that, what's its face, with enraged. Imagine that, yeah, like that's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So fire elemental, they both have redemption. So when they potentially die, then you're doing more damage to everyone else, and as well. I don't know. This is high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
You have to do so much damage up front.
And going back to the
Absolutely.
martyr each side, then that fight, the health he loses, he's going to gain from the martyrs dying.
Yeah, that too.
He's going to be very vulnerable to a ranged reflect though too, when you think about it. Like how much, like if you're doing 6 damage, what's coming back at you is like 4 damage back at you for ranged reflect, I think. So that's it. You're down to 1 damage, and at the end of the round you die from burning. So
shit.
Congratulations, you got 1 shot off.
Ah, shit, that's a good point.
So again, they look OP, but how do they actually work in practice?
Well, I don't know.
You live just long enough to get 1 shot off, set your neighbor alight, and then die.
All right, let's have a look at Commander Slade. Another expensive card.
Oh shit, I like that. Already just looking at it, it's great. It's so good.
He doesn't have any of the new abilities. Where we got
No.
demoralized,
I was just
dodge.
looking.
Nah, he does. He has. Oh no, he's got demoralized. Is that? Yeah, that's demoralized.
Yeah, I think
They
they've just
changed
changed
it.
the icon to make it more obvious. So demoralized, dodge, reflection shield, and is that backfire?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I get phase and backfire mixed up.
Bro, melee, like melee mayhem. This is the card. You got it, and
Yeah.
if it can attack from everywhere, and you pair it with like, I don't know, Persibolus or some shit. I don't know, like something, right? Where all cards
Attacking
can
from the
attack.
second position. It's got speed of
Yeah.
6. It's going to go first. It's
And
not
then
going
you
to be
just pair it
taking.
with all the double attacks as well, like like Coastal Sentry possibly behind this, or I don't know. I don't know. It depends.
It's vulnerable to Giant Killer at 10 mana.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
But yeah, no thorns to worry about. But Retaliate, Reflection Shield won't protect you from Retaliate.
It's a good point.
Shatter could hurt him.
What do you reckon?
It's a lot of speed and damage for only 10 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to the next one, Bob? And we'll.
Right.
I'm thinking if we focus more on the new abilities, just to see how they will use our time. Okay, so no new abilities here. Quillian Legionary. But that's
awesome.
Yeah. Bloodlust
cool.
there.
So it's more like a defensive card, like you got to get through this, and
Like a
it's
wave
just
brood.
yeah, it's like or like a lobster dramas. It hurts your opponent. It slows it slows the attacks down. So your other dudes can do more damage and potentially
Yeah, and Thorns could trigger that bloodlust and make him nastier and angrier. So you put him in last position with a repair on your team somewhere. If they go that sort of multi-sneak setup, well, he's going to hurt them over and over again, especially if you did some sort of amplify, triage, repair. Those thorns are going to hurt them, and if they die, especially when there's so many free like Uraeus and Pellicor Mercenary, almost free low mana cost cards that don't have too much health, they can just hit your back card all day and not really suffer for it. And this, I think, is a way to say, okay, if you're gonna go for multi sneak with those cheaper cards, and you hit this guy, he's going to get angrier and angrier, and you're just going to turn him into an absolute beast. So
100%.
as they die from the thorns.
Yeah.
I like it.
Especially something like Super Sneak, right? You just throw in a chicken because why not? Well, the chicken just dies and gets this guy enraged, right? Gets him bloodlusted.
Why would this guy get bloodlusted if the chook next to him dies?
No, if the chook that attacks him dies from thorns.
Yeah.
Ah, thorns, of course. Yes. Yeah.
And then if he's a total monster from all the bloodlust and he gets to the front, well, he has close range. So he can continue to be firing from there. He's not vulnerable to retaliate, and any melee who hits him again is dealing with the thorns. Bloodlust with armor, I've noticed your armor comes back too when you get bloodlust, and you get that +1 to armor. So your chicken could basically lose you the match by in a super sneak by hitting him first, dying, and then just giving him that extra oomph to just start his journey to becoming a monster. I really like this one. I didn't like it at first, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's gangster.
It's a good card.
Vulnerable to range, though.
Yeah.
Chaos Battle Mage. Rebirth, Divine Shield, and Redemption. Wow.
It's great. It's a good card. Yeah. So it's got Rebirth on this very card, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can put that at the back, or second slot.
Is that, hang on, isn't that just resurrect?
Did
it say resurrect an ally? I thought Rooney was the only one who self-resurrects.
Oh, I don't know. What is that? They've changed some of them. They look a bit different.
Yeah, I feel like that's just straight up resurrect, which means that she's not going to resurrect herself and go twice with the. But I don't know. I'm going to have a look at Rooney and see what that icon looks like because I haven't looked at it for a while.
All right.
But yeah, there's certainly a lot to like there. It is legendary, 8 mana, so not vulnerable to Giant Killer.
It's a good card. I don't know what to say. It's just good. It's a tack card. You just tack it in. It's just a good tech card.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, rebirth. When this unit dies, it will self-resurrect.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's not resurrect. That is rebirth.
No.
So she'll rebirth herself. That is really interesting then, because that's you're going to have to hit her a second time every time, so she gets
And
divine
redemption
shield
hits you
and
twice.
redemption. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do. All right, moving on. Continuum Seer.
I like that too.
What do you like about it?
Little
Eight speed. Whoa, what?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, phase as well, bro. Like, imagine again that not fist bar, the other one, the one that gives you enraged. Man, come on, look, it's insane. Oh wait, it has to get hit for it to.
Is it Jassic gives you enraged?
Yassic.
Yes, it
You know,
gives you +2 to speed.
Yassic would be better for this. Maybe enraged would be better for equalizer because 2 health. You know, it's not that great. I mean, I don't think you'd be able to get enraged off in that time anyway. With this card, unless it was equalizer. But Yassic, yes, Bob, yes, 100%.
Yeah, and Yassic gives scattershot too. So she's just wrecking those lighter support cards in the back row.
This is awesome.
But only 2 health. That's the short.
Yeah, but she's only vulnerable to True Strike or something moving really fast.
Yeah, she's only vulnerable to the most broken card ever. Kitty.
And this is 2 at maximum, so she's probably starting with 1. So if someone's got redemption, poof, gone.
But you think something? Imagine that she goes first. Obviously, everybody misses her. Last up, Jared Scar. True Strike, PS, boom.
Yeah.
Killing her triggers his bloodlust, and then the whole rest of the team's wiped out because you put her up as tank because you were impressed by how fast she is. So True Strike, I think, is her going to be
a tank. I would not.
Hey, no, I would risk reward, man. Imagine, I would use it as a low mana tank to dodge while everyone does damage in the back for sure.
I feel like snipe bait. She'd be good as like in the middle of the back row as snipe bait because there's not many range that are fast enough to, and there aren't many even like your Captain Katie, who's a magic snipe. She's not going to be fast enough.
But magic doesn't miss. Oh no, of course.
She's got phase. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same reason. Why do people put Chaos Agent up first, like I do sometimes, even though he's got the same amount of health? It's just because he's so evasive. You know, it's the same deal here. And you put like blinds, and then or that card, or the Deaf Squirrel card, which gives your person flying. This is even more broken. I'm looking at the risk rule draft or whatever it is.
Yeah, she's going to be fun, and in Little League too. I mean, speed's not a big focus in Little League, so she's going to be a must-have in Little League for those 5
teams. And that's
teams.
a rare. It's a rare.
Yeah, I mean, I love Spark Pixies in Little League, but I'd be swapping her out or having them both.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Surely drunk.
Surly drunk.
I like it. 1 mana. It's good little cards, right?
Yeah, that's OP compared to what else is out there for 1 mana. Opportunist with two melee. He's not fast, doesn't have a lot of health, but he's just such an easy decision for 1 card, right? One spare mana. Throw him
it's
in
almost like
somewhere.
the 0 mana. It's all like the 0 mana. Always, if you can take him in, do it. It's the same deal here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's OP. I just think it's great. I just think it's good. Yeah.
Frigid Wolf.
1 mana again. Yeah, cool. I don't know what that ability is.
There? Yeah.
No idea.
That's not a new one, is it?
I think so.
No.
I think
it's
it
not
is.
one of the new ones.
No, it's not a new one. Don't know what it is.
They're all quite muted.
But it's probably Rebellion new, just not this.
Yeah.
It's not on this because the abilities were.
It looks like, is it like speed-ish? Something to do
Ambush?
with... I don't know. Because I don't
we should know this.
I don't have Rebellion cards.
I don't have Rebellion. I don't play with Rebellion. I don't do anything with Rebellion.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. Rebellion.
And funny enough, people who know nothing about this set, the Rebellion set are the majority. We don't know too much about it because not everyone has it.
True. Yeah, I'm going to find it. Although if it's one of those abilities that they get later on, I'm seeing them all at first level on my screen, like low level 1 BCX. Yeah, we should know. We're going to do better homework than this, I reckon.
All right. Drop a comment if you know.
Yeah.
Bejangles, shout out to the People's Guild. Warborn Chieftain.
Here we go. Zebarjan has it, I think. That's Armored Strike, perhaps.
I know what it is. I know what the ability is of the last card.
Yeah.
Can use melee attack from any position. Shit.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
That's Melee Mayhem. Have they changed it? Have they?
Nah, it's just a new ability from Rebellion called Charge, and
Charge.
use
Yeah, Venka has
melee attack from any position. So you can put in the last, whatever, just attack. Yeah. Warborn Chieftain.
Look at all the abilities.
Another solid contender for your melee mayhems. Stun, demoralize.
The phase doesn't really make sense, but that's just attack. Like again, it's just put it on.
Yeah, I don't know how many magic dealers would be missing him at that speed.
Yeah, I don't think you're using this card for that either. Anyway.
What's the sad eyes next to stun?
That's demoralize. Reduces 1 melee damage on opponents. So again,
you said the other ability was demoralize, and why does that look like the original demoralize?
That's a really good question. That is a really good question.
Oh no, enfeeble. The other ability was enfeeble. Each successful attacks reduced the defender's melee attack by 1.
Okay, so with the orange background is enfeeble instead. Okay, so it's not a change of art; it's a different.
Right.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up, Gio.
All good. I'm on Splinter cards at the moment under the gameplay ability section. This is a good card. It's a good card. Shall we move on to the next? Yeah. Galacus.
Sounds like a Marvel baddie.
Yeah.
So 1 speed, that's an easy choice for reverse speed matches. Taunt, shield, strengthen, and headwinds. Jack of all trades there.
Yeah.
5 health though for taunt? Like, really?
Yeah, but you'd try to buff it
when he self-strengthens.
Like you'd put this probably at the last at the back row and probably try to get like some armor on it with Falcon Dude. What's that? The Phoenix thing that Carter just got. A bit of repair and a bit of what's it called?
Realistically, he's almost like a cheaper wave brood for those ranged only matches, right? Like if it's ranged only, Little League, reverse speed, like there's a lot to like there because he's doing headwinds. He's not going to take much damage because he's got shield and he's reducing their incoming range damage. And yeah, I could see him being a handy little like a roadblock for ranged teams to try to get through.
And he's adding. So he's actually going to start with 6 because everyone in the team gets an extra life.
That's right, yeah.
And triage would be good with this.
Of course, giving everyone on the team extra life, it doesn't really help if you're the first one to die because you have taunt.
Yeah.
It's not like weapons training that's going to stay. But yeah, look, I like him. Ranged only, I think he'd be a really smart move if you only had 4 mana spare. I mean, you look at Naga Windmaster, I use him or her religiously in ranged only because It's only 4 mana and it has headwinds. So this is a lot of the same. That in my head, that's the same slot it would occupy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You got
trying
a
to look
special
at
guest
life now.
Got
Yeah,
a
just
special guest
Ava.
there.
Yeah. I think
Hello,
she wants to go
sweetie.
for, like, Matt said hello. Say hi. So, there we go.
Oh, you gorgeous kid.
Yeah.
Your birthday
She looks like
soon.
on your birthday. Funny enough, her birthday's your birthday. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just gonna go for a little bike ride after this. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So she's like, she's come to remind me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the next one then. Mary put Slinger. Another redemption card.
I just got to say, ranged is awesome at the moment. Like they've making so many good range cards.
Hmm. What's that first ability?
Athlete's foot. It's yeah. When you're a little older, I can teach you. What that ability is, I'm looking at Splinter. Okay, I will. What? Wait, where's the foot on here? I don't see it. It should be an easy one to point out. Can you see a foot on these?
Oh, here we go. It is impede. Each successful attack reduces the defender's speed by 1. So it's slowing your opponents down. Slowing your opponents down. That's interesting. Okay.
And it's got slow as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just grinding the match to a halt. Yeah. Well, it's assuming a single target. That's maybe a good pairing with the redemption, because it's like I'm gonna hit the tank until they're not moving at all anymore, till the speed's down to 1, and then when I die, that's it. I'm gonna hurt everyone's health.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a minute and a half left, so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, we'll leave it at that then, so we can
Yeah.
say our goodbyes.
That's it.
As usual, any comments on the show? Anything we think we got wrong? You want to add to the meta that we've discussed? You want to come on the show? Comment below. Hit me up on Discord. Thanks for joining us on 135. We'll be back next week on 136. I'm Boba Fett. Peace out.
Bye.
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 Bye.